In my last video, we talked about the psychological effects of cannibalism, and I did mention prions, not prions, prions, in relation to Kuru, not Zuru. I mispronounced a lot in that video. I'm very sorry. I know you're probably wondering why it took so long for me to release another video, because I was researching prions, and prions are terrifying to me. So you might be wondering, okay, Emily, we get it. It's scary. What even is a prion? A prion is a misfolded protein, which doesn't sound very scary until you realize that it has the ability to change any other proteins in your body to the misfolded protein that it is. Like, it can affect other proteins. It infects other proteins. This is a normal protein. This is a misfolded protein. It can trigger other proteins in your brain to function abnormally. Prions aren't anything like a bacteria or a virus. They're distorted versions of proteins. Technically, proteins should not be able to infect other proteins. Prions aren't alive. They have no DNA. They can survive being boiled, being treated with disinfectant. These misfolded proteins can stay on something like a scalpel or a tool for years and years and years. Oh, and there's not just one type of prion. There's tons. And we don't even know if that's how many there are yet. And there's animal versions that can infect animals, and there's human versions. One of the most prominent forms of prion disease that people usually recognize is mad cow disease. It's a slightly different folded prion. COVID-19 is being researched as a possible prion disease and has also been linked to Parkinson's. Anybody with early stage dementia or rapidly developing dementia should be considered for a prion disorder, which is not curable but is able to be slowed down by medication. I'm almost positive that you have to test for prion disease by taking a biopsy of a person's brain, preferably after death. I don't think you can do that when they're alive. The way history has cracked down on prion disease is just preventing, limiting exposure, taking precautions. When prion disease wasn't known about very much, there was even a case of a hospital throwing away the MRI machine they used, but that's not something that's done now. Prions are scary because you don't know when they've infected you. It takes a very long time for symptoms to show, and by the time symptoms show, you're done for. Prions are so unbelievably scary to me because I genuinely believe that there would be a time where somebody used them in warfare. They're surprisingly easy to obtain in conflict areas, making them very accessible to militant groups in rogue states. Even a small-scale bioattack in a densely populated area would wreak havoc on a population. You might be wondering why somebody might want to use prions in warfare when there's plenty of other faster-acting viruses and substances. Surprisingly, we've gotten really good at quarantining, minus COVID, but we've gotten really smart on how to quarantine, how to do things properly. We've gotten information on the pathogens, how to quarantine for those, how to treat those. But prions are different. Because it is not a pathogen, it is virtually undetectable. And you wouldn't even notice any changes at first, but in 10, 20, 30 years, you'll notice your population is severely overrun by people with dementia and Alzheimer's. The symptoms of prion disease are rapidly developing dementia, difficulty walking, hallucinations, muscle stiffness, confusion, fatigue, and difficulty speaking. And depending on what type of prion it is, it can spread through your body and death can occur within months or years. But I will say there is one thing scientists have linked to proteins becoming prions: copper. Researchers from the Iowa State University have found that copper ions in the body cause prions already present in the brain, spinal cord, etc. to misfold. Exposure to copper was long thought to be associated with prions, and this was the first time it was proven in the lab. Even if you don't eat meat, which is how you would get prion disease, you might still be at risk if your family has a history of prion disease or if you were exposed to maybe contaminated medical equipment. Keep in mind, you can't get prion disease from shaking somebody's hand. You gotta consume their flesh, consume their protein, right? Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I never want to think about prions ever again. I don't.